Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of December 2025. Reliance Consumer Products is in advanced talks to acquire a majority stake in Udayam's Agro Foods. This company makes staples, snacks and ready-to-cook breakfast mixes. The deal is expected to be mid-sized. Reliance aims to tap into regional markets first before a national rollout. This strategy mirrors previous acquisitions. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is set to propose a clear division of responsibility between principal auditors of corporate groups and those auditing subsidiaries. This move aims to ensure financial statement quality and establish accountability. The recommendations will be submitted to the Corporate Affairs Ministry and the National Financial Reporting Authority. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India approved the revised Code of Ethics for Chartered Accountants that will give them more flexibility to advertise, among other things. The revised Code of Ethics, which will come into force from April 1st next year, will also enable CAs to render additional services such as forensic accounting, research analyst, social impact assessment and evaluation, artificial intelligence, etc. The revised Code of Ethics also includes new independence provisions like non-acceptance of audit work of a public interest entity where non-audit services have been provided to the same entity. In addition, the revamped Code of Ethics recommends CAs and firms to accept audit fees only through digital modes or banking channels. The central government has notified amendments to the Banking Regulation Cooperative Societies Rules 1966, introducing new definitions, procedures, and revised forms to strengthen governance and streamline the removal and cessation process for directors in cooperative banks. A new definition of ineligible director has been inserted into the rules. SEBI has issued amendments to the Master Circular on Know Your Customer or KYC to streamline the re-KYC process for non-resident Indians or NRIs. The revision responds to industry feedback regarding practical challenges faced by NRIs when undergoing re-KYC due to location-based restrictions in digital onboarding and verification. Earlier, digital KYC procedures required clients to be physically located in India during certain verification steps. SEBI has now relaxed this requirement for existing NRI clients undergoing re-KYC through digital mode. India attracted $67.5 billion in US investments, highlighting deepening tech and economic ties. Google will build a $15 billion AI data center in Visakhapatnam. Microsoft will invest $17.5 billion in cloud and AI infrastructure, and Amazon pledged $35 billion through 2030 for AI, logistics, and jobs. Tata Electronics and Intel announced $14 billion semiconductor venture, marking India's first large-scale chip-making facilities. The Indian rupee reached a new low against the US dollar on Tuesday. Foreign institutional investors are selling Indian assets. Uncertainty over a trade deal with the US is also impacting the currency. The rupee has seen significant depreciation recently. Analysts expect the trend to continue without a trade breakthrough. Google on Tuesday announced fresh collaborations and funding commitments worth $8 million to strengthen India's artificial intelligence ecosystem alongside a series of healthcare, language and developer-focused initiatives at its Lab to Impact dialogue. The funding, routed through google.org, will support 4 government-backed AI centers of excellence as part of India's push to make AI in India and make AI work for India. Vedanta's plan to demerge its oil-to-metals conglomerate into 5 separate listed entities has received approval from the National Company Law Tribunal. This development comes despite earlier concerns from the government regarding the recovery of dues. Following the news, Vedanta shares turned positive, rising 3.5%. HDFC Bank has secured RBI approval for its group entities to collectively hold up to 9.5% in IndusInd Bank. This approval, valid for 1 year until December 14, 2026, allows for aggregate investments by entities like HDFC Mutual Fund and HDFC Life. The bank sought this increase as combined group investments were projected to exceed the previous 5% limit. Flipkart has secured clearance from the National Company Law Tribunal to flip its domicile from Singapore to India. With this, the Walmart-owned e-commerce player moves closer to its public market debut dream. According to the NCLT order, the approval allows the amalgamation of 8 Singapore incorporated entities with India-based Flipkart Internet. The combined entity will be called Flipkart Internet and will house the company's core businesses in India, including fashion marketplace Myntra and logistics arm eCart. Flipkart is also seeking an approval from the government under Press Note 3 rules necessary under India's foreign direct investment regulations. This is primarily required as Chinese major Tencent holds a 5% stake in Flipkart. According to the pandemic-era rule, government clearance is needed for any foreign investment coming into a domestic company from a country that shares a land border with India. Japan's Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group is in final talks to acquire a 20% stake in Indian non-bank financial institution Shriram Finance for more than 500 billion yen or $3.22 billion. The news sent shares of Shriram Finance up as much as 2.7% to an intraday high. Facing a shrinking domestic market and years of rock-bottom interest rates, Japan's biggest banks have for years sought out overseas targets. Apple is in preliminary talks with some Indian chip manufacturers to assemble and package the component for the iPhone, a move that would mark a key step up in the value chain for vendors to the tech giant. Exploratory conversations have taken place between Murugappa Group-owned CG Semi, which is building an outsourced semiconductor assembly and test or OSAT facility in Sanand, Gujarat. It's the first time Apple is evaluating the prospect of having certain chips assembled and packaged in India. RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra expects India's interest rates to stay low for a prolonged period, citing supportive monetary policy. He noted that ongoing trade deals, including with the US, could boost growth by up to 0.5 percentage points. India's economy grew 8.2% in Q2, exceeding forecasts, but tariffs and trade pressures may slow growth. The RBI recently cut the repo rate by 25 basis points and boosted banking liquidity. Indian companies are set to give average salary hikes of 9% in 2026. Manufacturing and automotive sectors will see the highest increases at 9.5%. Global capability centers will offer 9%. This steady rise reflects a balanced economy and a stable talent market. Companies are focusing on short-term incentives to attract and keep key employees. Mizuho Securities is set to acquire a majority stake in Indian investment bank Avendus from KKR for up to $523.15 million. This move will make Avendus a consolidated subsidiary of the Japanese financial group. The acquisition highlights the increasing presence of Japanese financial institutions in India's rapidly growing economy. Ola Electric's Bhavish Agarwal on Tuesday sold 2.6 crore shares of the EV maker through a bulk deal, cashing in Rs 91 crore. The transaction was undertaken to help repay a promoter-level loan. These shares represented about 0.6% equity in the company and were sold at an average price of Rs 34.99 apiece. The company said it will repay the Rs 260 crore loan against which Agarwal had previously pledged 3.93% of its Ola Electric shares. This will help release the pledged shares. American banking giant JP Morgan will be the sole occupier of a space of 2 million square feet at the Global Capability Center or GCC in Mumbai's Powai, making the center the largest of its kind in Asia when it is completed in 2029. The GCC can house 30,000 employees. The American bankers' GCC push in India comes on the back of it taking up nearly 1 million square feet over the past 2 years, numbering it among the busiest in the banking, finance, securities, and insurance segment in India. India's telecom companies are shifting focus from network expansion to building AI-ready data centers and cloud infrastructure. This strategic move involves an investment exceeding Rs 1 lakh crore over the next 2 to 3 years. The goal is to significantly boost enterprise revenue, aiming for it to reach 40% of total earnings. TCS laid out an ambitious plan to become the world's largest AI-led technology services firm. At its Analyst Day, TCS detailed a shift from traditional digital services to AI-centric enterprise transformation, anchored around a 5-pillar strategy covering internal AI adoption, AI-driven services, future-ready talent, real-world client use cases, and ecosystem expansion. Tata Power is set to raise Rs 2,000 crore through a bond sale. This funding will support debt refinancing, renewable energy investments, and general corporate needs. The company will issue 2 securities, raising Rs 1,000 crore each in 3 and 5-year non-convertible bonds. This move marks Tata Power's return to the bond market after over 2 years. The Parliament on Wednesday cleared the Sabka Bima Sabki Raksha Amendment of Insurance Laws Bill 2025, allowing 100% foreign direct investment in the insurance sector from the earlier 74%. Overall, the amendments are expected to strengthen job creation, skill development, and formal employment. Vedanta Limited will invest $20 billion across its businesses over the next 4 to 5 years, as the natural resources conglomerate envisages each of its soon-to-be demerged entities to be in a leadership position in its sector. Aluminium and zinc are the 2 largest businesses for Vedanta Limited, together accounting for more than 80% of the company's consolidated earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. The group is aggressively expanding capacities in both these businesses. Novartis is deepening its presence in India, positioning the country as one of its most important global centers for biomedical research and drug development outside its headquarters in Basel, Switzerland. India is among the few markets where the Swiss drug maker has established biomedical research alongside a full-spectrum development and operations footprint. The company, which operates the largest pharma GCC in India, has ramped up its workforce to strengthen early-stage research over the last 1 year to over 9,000 employees, which is about 11% of its global workforce. Elon Musk-owned Starlink has secured its first office space in northern India, leasing a 50-seater facility at Delhi's World Trade Center. This move, alongside OpenAI's similar decision, signals a strategic choice for proximity to the capital's power centers and a preference for flexible, premium workspace providers. Elon Musk-owned Starlink has secured its first office space in northern India, leasing a 50-seater facility at Delhi's World Trade Center. This move, alongside OpenAI's similar decision, signals a strategic choice for proximity to the capital's power centers and a preference for flexible, premium workspace providers. HDFC Bank and Bank of Baroda have collectively secured $1.5 billion in overseas loans, bolstering their liquidity amid stabilizing interest rates. HDFC Bank raised $1 billion through a 3.5-year loan, while Bank of Baroda secured $500 million via a 5-year pact with MUFG and HSBC involved in the transactions. Early-stage venture capital firm KE Capital is raising its fourth fund with a target corpus of $100 million. The firm will allot a majority of the new fund to back seed-stage startups with a proportion of it reserved for follow-ons. While the firm will continue to focus on sectors including business-to-business, fintech and consumer, the new fund will also look to back startups working in automation, physical AI, deep tech and manufacturing. Cyient Semiconductors has acquired a stake of over 65% in the United States-based semiconductor company Kinetic Technologies for $93 million or Rs 838.6 crore. The acquisition is expected to be completed by April 2026. Cyient Semiconductors stated that the acquisition is crucial for the company's plan to set up a custom power semiconductor powerhouse. India's top private telecom companies such as Reliance Jio, Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea are expected to raise prices for both prepaid and postpaid plans by up to 20% next year. These possible price hikes, part of regular tariff revisions, are likely to sharply increase earnings for the telecom industry. In recent months, telecom firms have dropped cheaper plans or shifted benefits like OTT services to costlier packs. This has pushed users to move to higher priced plans, helping companies earn more per customer. In a major development in the edtech world, online education platform Coursera on Wednesday announced its decision to buy out its rival Udemy in an all-stock deal. The landmark deal values the new combined company at $2.5 billion as the industry consolidates itself after a post-pandemic slowdown in course enrollment rates. Through this deal, Coursera and Udemy are betting that a combined platform will be better positioned to capture corporate demand for workforce training across the disciplines of artificial intelligence, data science, and software development. Reliance Industries is boosting its consumer goods arm, Reliance Consumer Products. The company's authorized share capital has been expanded significantly. This move follows a business restructuring. Reliance aims to grow its FMCG business and challenge established players. The company is also investing in new factories and food parks. This strategic expansion signals a strong push into the consumer market. Vedanta Resources is nearing a $500 million loan from global banks to refinance high-cost debt and fund capital expenditure at its Zambian copper mines. This move is part of a broader strategy to simplify its capital structure and reduce refinancing risks. The company has significantly cut its gross debt and extended bond maturities, diversifying funding sources to lower interest costs. Manila-based the Asian Development Bank or ADB committed $4.258 billion in sovereign lending to India in 2025, supporting projects that strengthen the country's skill ecosystem, accelerate renewable energy development, transform urban infrastructure, expand metro networks, improve healthcare services, and promote ecotourism. Coca-Cola India has seen a significant profit jump of 46.3% in financial year 25, reaching Rs 615.03 crore. Revenue from operations also grew by 7% to Rs 5,042.56 crore. The company's total income rose to Rs 5,171.48 crore. Expenses on advertising and sales promotion saw a decrease. Royalty payments to its US parent entity increased. Electric vehicle manufacturer Ather Energy on Friday confirmed its plan to enter into the auto insurance services space by setting up a wholly owned subsidiary. The new entity will focus on offering auto insurance policies in partnership with multiple insurers for its customers across the country. This move is expected to help the EV maker to streamline its insurance offerings, enhance customer experience, and generate a recurring revenue stream by leveraging its existing user base. Piramal Finance on Friday announced that the company has entered into a share purchase agreement with Shriram Life Insurance Company for the sale of its entire equity stake of 14.72% for a consideration of Rs 600 crore. As per the company's regulatory filing, it will sell its entire stake to Sanlam Emerging Markets Mauritius. The transaction is expected to be completed by March 31st, 2026, subject to regulatory approvals. Through the transaction, Piramal aims to monetize its non-core assets and strengthen its balance sheet.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.